millennials and Gen Xers make these buying decisions for kiosk care clinics, virtual visits, whatever can be done on your tech.
The older consumers about being a savvy consumer.
There's a lot of credible information about how to get healthier, and it doesn't always have to be a pill. It doesn't always have to involve a physician. There's a lot of other continuum of care services out there that involve just being healthy and being well. And it seems like the millennials are much more aware of that, I think, than some of the older consumers of healthcare.
Your survey several months ago showed frustration not only with the providers of the treatment, but also for the insurers themselves.
That can be a bit more frustrating to deal with, I think, for consumers because of the 800 numbers and the phone trees and the confusing bills and these complex contracts that you have to hear about that you're really not interested in as a consumer. That's probably another great example of maybe where some millennials can help some of the older consumers with that, because there's a lot of ways to get attention and answers, even using social media. I was traveling with a millennial in our company a few weeks ago. This person had an issue with a major air carrier, and instead of calling the 800 number, they tweeted the air carriers and directly and said, "I have a problem, can you help me?" The air carrier came back to them in 30 seconds, and I commented on that. And he said, "You should have seen the answer I got out of the insurance company when I posted this on Twitter as well." And a light went off for me, and I thought, communication's really going to change when it's out in the public domain.
That was Lindsay Jarrell of PwC speaking with Mary Shedden, editor of Health News Florida. To see what other issues are changing the healthcare landscape, visit our website at healthnewsflorida.org. This is WLRN Miami Herald News. I'm Luis Hernandez.
I'm Tom Ashbrook. Coming up on the next On Point, more than 70,000 untested rape kits in more than 1,000 police departments across the country. We'll ask why. That's coming up on the next On Point from NPR.
Who does the mayor in your town report to? The governor, the White House? Well, in Boston this week, it sounds like Mayor Marty Walsh is attending to an even higher power.
Whatever the issue might be, we are the body of government that can make the most change. What's happening here in the Vatican is just following that same theme, and I think you're seeing a shift in the world from legislative bodies carrying out different initiatives, shifting over to mayors.
Pope Francis has invited mayors from all over the world to a conference all about making a difference on issues perhaps most need a Pope's touch and the unvarnished street-level touch of a local politician. The Pope's message this week is that a big planetary-scale problem like climate change is a driver of poverty and other factors that lead to the problem of the millions of lost souls finding themselves victims of human trafficking. A surprising message for an unlikely coalition. Senior reporter Philip Martin from our station partner WGBH in Boston is in Rome this week. He says he's finding an atmosphere of excitement and a message that is resonating. Welcome, Philip.
Hey, John, how are you?
How's it going over there?
It's hot, and the topics are also hot. Didn't mean to use such a throwaway metaphor, but it's probably true. There's been a lot of extraordinary discussions about issues that mayors from around the world.
Those topics are so hot right now.
Climate change.
Well, they're almost hot topics. Oh, destroyed that joke. Oh man, I'm good. Oh, welcome to the FORDCAST. I didn't get my job yet, so we're still heading there. Yeah, as I said earlier on the previous stream, this is a Thursday. It's still Thursday. It's not Friday yet. That's good. Tomorrow's Friday. I'd put on the AC like full blast so my phone could cool down. I noticed it was really hot. Pit stop. Using a lot of resources. Using the I mean,
for them to actually make the connection. And they thought about it. See, if the earth warms up, crops are, before the market because of drought, it puts people out of their homes. And in Eritrea or Ethiopia or Ghana or war and the move, and they get to a certain point, and they're in order to get from point B, if you don't pay it, are essentially you owe us a debt, and that did involve your. Then yeah, they make that connection in Vancouver. Robertson has talked about his city is extraordinarily it's rich. It also has a large number and number of of them into information, including trafficking.
You can't agriculture crops. You end harvesting human body. Idea. And suddenly, when you put it that way, New York Mayor.
The message needs to be heard in Washington has been for the very ideas of inequality and create fair economic the challenge of the war addressed by the country. I think the time can be better. I think he really cut all that and really wake up.
This wake up has significant lies of global mayors move action in the capitals.
Strategic. Described as strategic and tactical. They know that legislators around the world, legislators, move very slowly in issues. And the Pope is actually, I'm going to the grassroots, and by appealing to what Jerry Brown does, the periphery being mayors. And the event is just to circumvent the mayors if you can, or pressure on them from the ground. Use your mayor. You can, if your people on a local level, use that. So this is what you heard from. He's saying Congress and they're specific in talking about are not going to move fast on climate.
Tell me
That
about
is
it.
going to be a terrorist. Similar, John. I mean, but these mayors of that conference. Let's start talking about this. Let's talk about it with our people. Congress is not going to, whether it's Parliament or whether our House, Senate. Why don't we get mayors to move this issue?
It's a pretty interesting model. Mayors are to vote, pastors to parishioners. That's a power there from the Catholic Church, and who we've seen mayor, we've seen as a governor. He's the governor of California now, but he's also so he's talk here.
He is talking. He is very certain of this issue. If you talk about climate change, you have many people who almost as though it's something that is not taking place right now, something in the abstract. And for me, it is in the abstract. The conference that's taking place here in the Vatican, here in Rome, in order perhaps to and think about the not just the mayor, but the coming the Pope himself, France, perhaps the most popular Pope in years, because he is there, believe that this message will be taken seriously.
Martin, UGBA reporter, much for that.
Thank you, John.
I mean, how much do you feel that Alzheimer's what worries you most about your senior? From Redwood City, California, I fear lacking a family and career.
My name is Mary Helen. I'm calling from Massachusetts, and my concern as I get older, I'll be on the board of family to get Alzheimer's. I hope to research advance fast or etches that could
Stories like Mary, latest on next on take a look.
Supported by Citrix of GoToMeeting. People and face-to-face online meetings from a personalized room for a custom look. GoToMeeting.Lumosity. Using a 2-minute fit to challenge memory, attention, and focus with brain baseline scores and build a personal program. Performance to global average. Learn more at .com.
This is 91.3 WLR, 91.5 WQM.
Illinois and Western Rochester. Casa Sana is the only community archdiocese in Miami. People of all faith can live with the Spirit. With 60,000 apartment homes different from typical communities, more personal neighborhood. Why you may love to call home. Vecsa.org. VECSA.org.
You can become a professional with the Miami Continuing Education Certificate in 12 weeks. The program satisfies educational requirements needed for management in EMP. Online classes this August. Information at 528-45800 visiting continue.miami.edu/.
The various other manifestations becoming the areas and public health problems. About 1 million people with Alzheimer's and caregivers whose lives are disrupted by the consequences. Then add the millions of fear getting for science, pay attention to development results in every experience. These times, millions and millions each year into what comes out of the annual Alzheimer's Association conference in Washington. One headline from market maker Eli Lilly very suggest that might be able to slow down the onset of Alzheimer's in the development of what's called amyloid brain. For example, David Kramer, of emergency physician, diagnosed with onset Alzheimer's in 12. Welcome. And Meryl, to this, she's been a caregiver for years. Her former research physician in health, diagnosed with onset Alzheimer's at the age of 57. Child cares for him, along with her, who also has the disease. Meryl, thank you to both of you. And yes or no here, follow this every detail. Yeah. Like that. I hear Dr. What's your reactions to Eli Lilly preliminary? Is it a question? Is it a here we go again?
I have seminary optimism with the results. The opportunity to read a paper on a study that was discussed and presented yesterday. The data is very preliminary, and there are not any clear from what I think would have a long-term effect, but it's too soon to.
And Meryl, deal with these to tell the positive.
Well, I think there's a neurologist for 20 years looking, because what I see is that promising but people tend to read things only. So and saying the new problems, they don't understand the complexity of the disease. It's easier to get to Mars than to find a disease out of or a very issue like Alzheimer's. To me, is the companies like Lilly and Biogen and Merck that are saying, you know, we went through a phase of these failed trials. We were afraid to be abandoned at a time when numbers are growing exponentially and globally of the disease. So I take us, as do all advocates, because we are it. Give us 4 years of life, and that might be an individual.
What's it like to get a diagnosis? Is it you feel that there's some time out there where you're going to fundamentally change, even as you follow quality right now?
I do feel powerless. I feel that it's important to enjoy what I have now. I focus on everything that we do and enjoying life. There are definite benefits in early diagnosis, as I was fortunate to have, in that, and then, all right, I know that doing well now. As long as I continue to do well and live disease. I plan on
Out of Alzheimer's facts and figures, 50% refused to diagnose because they had patients, and they don't. But when you hear that life you're granting for as long as you can have it is important, let the families decide. Give us the diagnosis, Dick, about what we can manage. It's misdiagnosed for 4 years after disease. Go take a vacation. It's insulting, and we're lost and confounded because behaviors are the first things that appear. So I think it's very important early diagnosis gives us a chance to care loved ones. Don't decide for us.
It seems to me, maybe I'm just here, but that if you're asking for equality, essentially trying to memories that we know are going to vanish. So that seems how do that work in the way that you with your family?
Live in the moment. Often you're moving from crisis to crisis. You have to the disease. I mean, my husband, the caregiver, you are so focused on protecting the dignity of giving them their last hurrah. And essentially, we're learning caregivers are getting sick.
I'd like to I'm concerned about this disease on impact on myself. So that is the key. I totally agree with her. And then real quickly, if there are a lot of closeted with dementia because they're embarrassed, they might not have financial means, they might be afraid of losing, they might be able to afford to, and so forth. And since so many people are in other factors, I believe that the true number of people with early onset is a lot than currently reported.
They have this idea of you trying to sort of glue it more firmly in.
It's not about on a day, and my wife and I, that a lot of it happen. I will tell her story time and time again. She always says it the same way with the same.
Support for the comes from the Henry Luce for increased understanding of East Asia. The takeaway is reporting is supported by the Rockefeller Foundation, rockfound.org, and Curious.com, helping people grow skills in programming and family. Broadcasting discussion on how to be an adult this Thursday with Lithcott Haynes at 9 p.m. Learn more at Curious.com.
It is 0.3 LRN and Miami, Palm Beach, and 91.5 WM and E1 on Key Online and.org. Partly cloudy today, hours or thunder possible, and
maintain mental health activities. And more Alzheimer explores Peruvian cuisine with the executive of Koyo restaurant that returns Thursday.
AM and NPR in Washington, Susan Page, USA Today, and for Diane. Celebrity millionaire Donald Trump continues top national polls of Republican voters. Was surveyed out this week, double-digit lead. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker, Florida Governor Jeb. Trump sparked furor with race Mexican immigrant criminals and in his remarks today questioning Senator terrorism and many. Trump supporters say he's a fighter who's not afraid to stand up to white leads. Donald Trump's surge in polls can't last. What does it say the 2016 presidential election? First,
from Washington, I'm Cory Bowman, Secretary of State John Kerry, Capitol Hill today, testifying about the nuclear agreement with Kerry questions. the Senate Foreign Relations. NPR's Elsa reports there has already been urging lawmakers to the agreement.
Every Republican is expected to oppose the that many Democrats have too. Secretary John Kerry was House and Senate when they took any.
We are convinced the agreement that we arrived at world agreement that will prevent us from developing the nuclear weapon that will make the region our friends.
Senators likely challenge the inspections, the decision to and how quickly states can snap back in terms. Congress has until mid-September to accept or reject the deal. As a the cap.
Parliament has approved the financial reforms it hopes will pay for another bailout from bidders. As Rowley reports, the government hopes the vote will prevent Greece's ouster from the Eurozone.
Early in the evening before overwhelmingly approving, but just as a quarter of the law from the ruling government against the measure. Alexis Tsipras said, "No choice but to because the issues are tough. The measure would make to the nation's and banking. The government hopes the approval of the second package of reform will officials over another bailout before the European Central Bank provides an emergency loan to keep Greece spending." NPR News in Athens.
The family of an African American was found dead in a Texas continues to ask questions about her death. Kendra Land jailed after a minor traffic was found dead in her cell days later. Her sister told ABC today that she has had inconsistencies in the families by Texas.
There were inconsistencies in what we as a team today with the jail documents that are 817. He was communicated to us she was 4 hours apart. Whether it's the document that show she did not sign those documents at all.
The Department of Public Safety released a new dashboard of Bland's arrest. The first video, which is in it, raised questions whether the video had been edited. Texas say the video had not been altered. Industrials are down about points at 17,802. The next 8. Listening to NPR.
The WRN, my Harold Hernandez. An attorney in government administrations next year for the nomination to challenge Democratic U.S. Representative in a Northwest congressional district. At the Florida Department of Elder Affairs candidate Tallahassee. Conservative Christian and the race, she would be the first Asian American to Congress.
To facing this challenge will be. I think people strike out the line. They want a conservative voice in Congress. That's what I heard.
Florida Supreme Court ruling this month congressional districts Graham's congressional 2 likely will become, which would help. A high number of leprosy cases appearing in Florida. The possible culprit are dillos.
And children, both in and out. More information at wallacefoundation.org. And from the listeners, NPR station.
On topical currency, magazine's Patricia Mark, let's be stupid and attempt to mental faculties. Linda Gassenheimer explored the world of proving the executive chef of that's topical currency. 1 o'clock.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Susan Page, sitting in for Diane Reed. Presidential candidate continues to lead the polls and dominate the headline. In the ire of fellow Republicans slamming Mexican immigrants for Senator John McCain's. Supporters say straight talker who take on Washington insiders. Joining me is Donald Trump's surge in the tell about the 2016 presidential electorate, strategist David Winston, Ron L. News, columnist Kathleen of the Washington Post, and Matt Schlapp, the
huge if that perhaps the Donald Trump phenomenon has slowed as he seemed to be rising in every new national poll, and he's down slightly from the 20% he showed in these Post poll. It was such a shock to people on the day, particularly remarks Senator McCain remained most of the poll completed. So perhaps the last day that was the most relevant, we are told, last day of the Washington Post poll. I'm just a bit more of that in this PPT poll, but the election is a long way away.
That'll be for anyway.
And clearly done.
He'll be in the debate, even with the report. He's still on top of these. Well, David, why is it to Republican voters?
Well, I'm not sure there's an appeal. I think what you're saying is this is a guy good at getting media attention. What he's very good at is creating train wrecks, right? And so he's taking individual moments and trying to set the right track against CNN. I mean, like, this whole speech, waiting for a train wreck in case it can happen. And they're him doing his speech, he delivers right in terms of doing Lindsey Graham's number, giving it out, and then following up, beating himself up. So what I'm saying is, here's a person suddenly emerges, the name, they're sort of intrigued, support him, but the challenge for somebody like that is in that, and he's got to sustain those groups for any period of time. The question really is, when is this going to fall off?
In your most recent comment, why can't we dismiss Donald?
As soon as people, and that's because, he's still, four candidates to gain. So the train wreck has a name, right? So usually there's a large group problem called immigration. Now he's narrowing focus to individuals. First he gets McCain, then he gets Lindsey Graham, Scott, and they're kind. Of course, Lindsey Graham lied, and finally they're getting a little. Him in South Carolina, and he's standing in a among of local people, and Lindsey Graham, he's successful. He'd be poor. Well, Lindsey Graham got poor, and a lot of people. So he's also a messy lot of people, and we don't live in making fun.
Matt Schlapp, you were chairman of the American. You were a political director for George W. Bush. Managed to accord with police with some Republican voters.
I'd just like to correct one thing. I think he's reported a lot. Donald Trump does when someone says something to him. That's so. What did John McCain say to Trump? Oh, he's going to unleash words and become the crazy. A lot of people don't really like called crazy bird. And Lindsey Graham says he's back. Now, John McCain and Lindsey are really good at plucking the media. Lindsey Graham, he's usually doing this, creating a lot of over some tactic. Donald Trump is, equal to that task. And so what we're seeing actually, partly about Donald Trump, and this has been around for my whole lifetime, but the other part that he is resonating with people out there in the country, to real out there in the country. I know I'm supposed to say this, I'm supposed to, but I with the fact that he's taking on, and I think why it's broken, and we need an outsider to fix it.
I think that's true, and I hear from people every day, but they say one day, particularly that Trump is not a candidate voice, and people he's saying that things he can't say say, and they're going to pull away from him anytime soon because they those things put out in the public square, and it's fine. And later, if they want to determine who else makes a presidential candidate, but for now, speaking for people who feel they've not been.
And Dave, you've done a lot of years for Republicans, including congressional leadership. Who exactly is wrong? What's the demographic characteristics of Trump's supporters?
Something that's very confusing. And focusing on some of the surveys that just came out in the ABC poll. And this is where he gets support among party people. He gets more support of evangelicals and evangelicals. He gets more support of moderates, conservatives. He gets more support posted amongst independents and Republicans. That is goes directly against the narrative that's been laid out here. I think to some degree, going to what this dynamic that he's saying something that in the court goes back to the fact that what he's very good at is he's got attention. And some people just engage in treatment.
There is also a fear of polling that could possibly cover it, which is the tyranny of small. When you have a few, a tiny numbers. Now, terribly, the Donald 22, 23, 4%. Bernie Sanders. And Sanders has got a remarkable position, perhaps relative to what he achieved in the rest of his career in the national scene. He is not considered in the Democratic and where Joe's not anywhere near. Donald Trump gets in a is getting more because of this. Trump is the most out there.
One other observation about his success in capturing attention this summer, not much news. I think we should metaphor from train wreck attack. So there's another shark. Donald Trump down in the ratings.
Well, I'm going to disagree with just a little bit. It's a serious. I think it's an actual happening in politics. Like I said, it's not just about. I think the Sanders example is pretty. I think things are acting like Democrats, Democrats are acting like Republicans. Our nominees get. It's chaotic. It's scaring the heck out of our donor base. Democrats do. They have their chosen person propping her forward, and it looks pretty weak. And I actually think the kinds of people. Sanders on this outside, on the inside. It's very what Trump is doing at the time.
Go down the run the table. If you think the day possible Republican nominee for president next year, is it possible?
Yeah, sure. You know, the person and if you the field, he's in the field. I'm open to the prospect.
It's possible.
Forever. I mean,
Here's why it's a real possibility. Because I go up to the ballot, I look at all the names that go. These people excites me. I think he's going to vote. But
Ron, is it possible?
I don't think it's possible. Plausibility. I think it's much more possible as a third-party option.
Plausible. David, is it possible?
When he was within the party, I mean, he's just got a real. He doesn't have the ability to within the Republican Party to make up for having turn here is going to say maybe a third party.
Short break, and when we talk about the possibility that Donald Trump might run as a third candidate, talked about that in an interview this morning, and we'll take your calls and questions. Our toll 433
PR member station. And
do you turn an online source for what we're education into empowering education?
Hits them for some sort of over-the-top criticism, they just have to shrug it off. They have to be Reagan-esque and sort of take the high road, laugh it off. And the Americans see how he compares to that more adult treatment.
It's interesting to see how 8% in the polls, you really need to have as many clashes with Donald Trump as you possibly can. He's getting more attention than he's gotten at any other point in this campaign. If you're Rick Perry, this is your chance to be number 10, getting just over the line and into the debate. If you're Ted Cruz, and you're thinking, hey, a lot of Donald's voters ought to be my voters, and they really ought to come to me, then you want to be very careful that you never say anything to alienate those people and tell the media, I'm not going to get down into the gutter with you media people in talking about Donald Trump, and put the blame entirely on the media and stand there hoping with your hands open to catch those Trump voters at some point.
No offense to all of us sitting here, I don't think he actually should listen to us. I think he's